Property Management. Well, I don't know what happened there. It was smack dab in the middle of that, and we didn't hear it.
Good morning, Gordy.
It just said goodbye.
It said goodbye without saying goodbye.
So maybe you should talk about Trek Properties here.
Well, I will. I will at the end of the show. I'm Royal Ross, your Gordy Kosfeld, of course, the mighty Gordy.
The mighty 920.
And the mighty Gordy.
I'm not mighty.
So we're at the...
Mighty Mouse, maybe.
Maybe, there you go. We're at the Coach's Show, and we are in Janna's studio. Our temporary, every Saturday studio.
We have a fireplace.
We do.
Don't even have a real fireplace or even a fake one down at the station.
Yeah. So, folks, if you need a great meal, come on down to Janna's. She puts out some wonderful, wonderful food. Fresh made right here in the kitchen. You can sit down, you can eat in, you can take it out. You can take meals to go with you to pop in the microwave at the office for a couple of minutes. They're delicious, and they're made all fresh right here in Janna's kitchen.
That's right.
So, one thing that caught my eye today when I was kind of walking through was they've got some really good soups down here.
Yes, they do.
Yeah, and I think they got 4 of them or so out right now. They got a cheesy potato. They've
chicken
got
wild rice.
Chicken wild rice. Yep. Then they've got a chicken dumpling. Yep.
Those are the 2 I've had the last 2 weeks.
Oh, they're wonderful soups too, folks. So
yes, they are.
If you need a little soup, not exactly soup time anymore. That's kind of more of a winter thing, but it's still a great, quick, delicious meal.
I don't know.
I eat soup year round, so it doesn't bother me.
Well, so do I. But I mean, even it was cool this morning. That wind is chilly.
Yeah, a little bit.
The sun feels nice.
Yep. So come on down to Janna's Marketplace, located in beautiful downtown Faribault at the intersection of 2nd Street Northwest and Central Avenue.
The soups, the salads. I know you're a salad guy. I'm not.
Yep. I can eat a salad once in a while. She got a wonderful chef salad down here too. Homemade, in-house ranch dressing. It's a very tasty salad.
Yeah, the chef salad is your favorite, right?
Yes, it is. The chef salad's my favorite. And today after the show, I'm gonna get a roll. I haven't decided if it's a caramel roll or a cinnamon roll yet.
Wish I could have that.
I'm gonna get a roll.
I probably could, but I probably shouldn't.
Yeah. Well, you gotta be wise.
Well, I don't know. Check the old blood sugar. If it's low enough, I cheat.
Yeah, fair enough.
If it's not, I don't.
Yeah, and that's, like I said, fair enough. I mean, you gotta live,
Yeah, well, you gotta enjoy life.
That's what I mean. I mean, yeah, you've got to enjoy. Yeah.
You know, Royal, I don't know if you're aware of this, but the Faribault High School has a distinguished alumni Hall of Fame.
Yes.
They call it the High Flyers. A couple of ladies were on our radio station yesterday giving us details about this year's class. And you probably know every single one of these people. Well, maybe not every single one of them. But I'm pretty sure you know who Gary Kinseth is.
Yes.
And I'm pretty sure you know who Rod Mulder is.
Yes. Longtime realtor.
Yep, Rod.
Gary Kinseth. Him and his brother were very instrumental in improving Faribault over the years. Is Gary the one that served in local government?
Yeah, he was a mayor and he was a longtime council member.
Yeah.
In my opinion, this is my humble opinion, I've been here almost 40 years, the best city council member we've ever had was Gary Kinseth.
Good. That's a high compliment.
That's just my own opinion.
Yeah. No, I know the Kinseths, plural. They really did a lot for Faribault. They're great people. So who else we got on the list?
Well, we got a little time here. So
a little bit, so we might as well go through it.
So we are going to do that. What else can you tell me about Rod Mulder? Now, I came here long after the hardware store was here. Were you here when the hardware store was here? There was a Mulder hardware downtown.
No, I was not. No.
And I think it was Rod's dad that ran that? Is
Okay,
what
that
I've
I
been
don't
told. Okay.
I've known of Rod as a realtor in the area.
Sure, absolutely. He and his wife, I love what was their theme? The 2 for the price of 1 or something like that?
Yeah, I think that might have been them. Yeah, I think it might have been them.
2 for the, you get 2 for the price of 1.
They were doing teams before real estate teams were cool and in vogue, you know. Right now, there's all kinds of real estate teams out there, but I think the Maulers were kind of on the leading edge of that.
They were the pioneers. Yeah. Anyway, Rod graduated from Faribault High School in 1951. Wow. Gary Kinseth in 1965. In fact, considered this is supposedly a sports show, in 1965, the Faribault Falcon boys basketball team went to the state tournament for the first time, I think.
Now, how do you know that?
Because I just remember that. And it was, he's in the class of 65, and Gary's a tall guy. I wonder if he played basketball.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me at all. It wouldn't surprise me because he is.
Their big gun, their center was a 6'9" guy who ended up being a preacher. I can't remember his name. Huh. I interviewed him many years ago.
Interesting. Very interesting.
On the 20-year anniversary of their team in 1980. No, it couldn't have been the 20. It must have been the 30 year. 95.
95 or so?
I talked to him. Great guy. Yeah. Preacher. Yeah. Was 6'9". In 1965, if you were 6'9", you were...
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that was incredibly tall back then.
For some reason, we were all getting taller generation after generation.
It missed me, though.
Me, too. Anyway, Jennifer Meese Green... class of 1989. I didn't bring their bios with them. I should have, because they did leave me some bios, and I'm going to put up on our website after the banquet, which is on April 26th. We're hoping people will go to the banquet and hear these people speak as they're being inducted into the Distinguished Alumni Award for Faribault High School, the High Flyers Club. And I asked the ladies this is kind of cool. They don't get a plaque with their name and everything. Because like they pointed out, it's a good point, all these people probably have multiple plaques.
Yeah.
They give them, it looks like they said it looks like a gem, looks like a diamond.
Okay.
And it's like a paperweight. And they've got the Falcon logo on the top, and it says Distinguished Alumni.
Oh, that sounds awesome. I've never seen that, but it sounds awesome.
The High Flyers Club. Well, you and I wouldn't qualify.
Well, no, certainly not.
Because we weren't.
I'm just saying I've never even seen one.
We're not Faribault High School graduates.
Yeah. So it's April 26th?
That's the banquet. $25 the meal, and the Legion always has great food.
Yeah, yep.
And I think they said they're going to have pulled pork sandwiches, and they got to have beans and something else.
Okay. So that's a Saturday, huh?
That's just a few of them. We got 3 more to go over here. Drew Sandy. Yep, that's a Saturday. Drew Sandy, if I remember this right, class of 1980, did not go on to college. Because you'd think, well, distinguished alumni, but you don't have to go to college.
No.
He joined the military, became a Navy SEAL, won a bronze medal for service in the Middle East.
Interesting gentleman.
Yeah, Drew Sandy. I hope I can go to this banquet. I got a game that day, but I think if it's at night, I can get there, and it is at night.
Yeah, so you can time it out.
Jason, I can't remember if they pronounced it taco or taco, so I apologize if I say it wrong. I think it's taco. Class of TAKO, class of 1990. And Nancy Meyer Van Buren, she's a doctor, class of 1975. I was told her family is a family of doctors. Her dad was a doctor here in Faribault.
Okay.
Dr. Van Buren. This Jennifer Meese Green has traveled the world. She was in the Peace Corps. She taught English in all kinds of places in the world, including places you wouldn't think of, like Kuwait. You ever been to Kuwait?
No, I've never even been out of the country.
You haven't been to Mexico?
No.
Gee, I thought you would have gone to Mexico.
No,
because you're kind of a beach guy.
Yeah, I do like a little warm weather, but I just I've traveled all over this country, and
Have you gone on any cruises?
No.
Ooh, you got to take the bride cruising. When's your next wedding anniversary?
Thanksgiving of this year.
And you'll be
33.
Okay.
33 years.
Well, maybe you had to plan it out. The 35th anniversary, take her on a cruise.
Yeah.
I tell you, I went to Alaska in July a few years back.
Yeah.
And I'm so thankful I went with my older sister because she passed away last October, so we have that memory. Anyway, it was a lot of fun.
Good.
In July, you still had to, it was kind of chilly.
Really? Okay. But you enjoyed the cruise atmosphere and
I loved it. Although the next time I go to Alaska, I'm not going to go by ship.
You're just going to fly?
You don't spend enough time in the state. You go to ports and everything, and you take a couple of days to get there. You take a couple of days to get back. I can't afford more than 1 week. So,
my twins turned 30 last year, and that was their trip that they went together on. They went to Alaska.
I'll bet they loved it.
So, yeah, they had a lot of fun.
No, it was awesome, but I didn't get to see enough of the state. So if I go again, I'm going to fly, and there's a train or something that you can take that'll take you around the state.
I've heard that, yeah.
And then there's a helicopter you can take to see more stuff, too. So, although after watching that helicopter crash the other day...
Oh, that's sad.
It was a tourist helicopter, right?
I believe it was a tourist helicopter. It's just sad.
Yeah. I remember when I was a kid.
The whole family.
I must have been maybe 10 years old. My younger sister and I went with my dad, and we went to, Brainerd? Where's Paul Bunyan at?
Brainerd, I believe.
Where they have a helicopter, they take you up on she wouldn't go.
No, wouldn't she?
She wouldn't go. But I went.
Okay. Well, I took a helicopter ride, a touristy helicopter ride around the Black Hills one time.
I bet that was awesome.
That was beautiful, yeah. And I'll just be honest, it's kind of cool to be in a helicopter. I have only been in a helicopter like 2 times in my life or so, but it's a great experience if you've never done it out there in listening land. And, I was flying over the Black Hills, and they're just stunningly beautiful to me. So that was fun. They
are beautiful, no question. And, I mentioned them all, didn't I? Those are the people, and the banquet is on April 26th. It's at the Faribault American Legion. If you'd like to go, maybe you get a hold of Jill. I should have written down her phone number. I didn't. Jill Fagerlund is her name, Fagerlund. And Cheryl Freund was the other person on the show yesterday. If you want to hear more about each of these individuals, a recording of that is on our website under the AM Minnesota tab at kdhlradio.com.
And I bet it's on the app, too, correct?
Oh, of course. You can go on the app and get anything you can get on the radio because it's the same thing, basically. Also wanted to note that on Monday and Tuesday of this next week, the Faribault Medical Center Auxiliary, former the District 1 Hospital Auxiliary, is having their annual Gently Used Accessory Sale. It's up at the Eagles Club, 2027 Grant Street here in Faribault. They've got jewelry, purses, scarves, and some really good deals out of Angel's Attic Gift Shop. Have you ever stopped up there?
Yes, I've been in the Angel's Attic.
Oh, I love that place. I love that place. They got so many knickknacks in there that you won't find anywhere else.
Yep.
They do a great job of purchasing. So check that out. Again, this is at the Eagles Club, 9 to 6 both days, Monday and Tuesday. Of course, the auxiliary purchases things that the hospital doesn't or can't put in their budget.
Right.
For example, they bought gowns one year. They bought televisions for all the rooms one year.
Wow. Now, that was a big check, I bet.
Well,
televisions for all the rooms, wow.
Nowadays, a TV is not much.
No, but they got a lot of rooms.
Correct.
Be a lot of TVs.
Well, I don't know. I think they get like 17 people now up there. Unfortunately, it doesn't, they don't have the people they used to have.
Yeah.
17, I think, is max. When I was in there, I think they were pretty full. Because they were talking about sending me to Minneapolis.
Ooh, well, I'm glad they didn't.
If they didn't have a room.
I couldn't have stopped in and seen you once in a while if you...
Yeah, Faribault Community Good Friday service is on Good Friday.
As it should be.
On April 18th, that's next Friday. It begins at high noon at the Cathedral of Our Merciful Savior, just a couple of blocks from the radio station.
Yep. Beautiful, beautiful church.
Yeah, it is. And what's neat about the cathedral, this rotates in churches. I've often thought it should always be at the cathedral because they're so handicap accessible. They have a special area that they put the wheelchairs. That's really awesome.
Okay.
You know, most churches, you could have a wheelchair maybe at the end of the pew or something like that.
Yeah.
But this is a special section that they have for them in the cathedral.
Kind of like seating at a baseball game.
Correct.
You know, they
Yep. You're right. An ASL interpreter will interpret the service for the deaf and hard of hearing. They'll be providing Braille and large print for the blind and visually impaired. Yep, they think of everything. Yeah. And the cathedral, as I mentioned, accessible for anyone who has a physical limitation. Their seating area for the wheelchair bound is a special section. And it really is nice. You can view everything and not feel like you're in the way.
Right.
The Faribault Area Christian Ministerial Association sponsors the worship service. They invite all in the community to head there on Good Friday, April the 18th. Next weekend, of course, is Easter. You got plans?
No. My wife and I usually take a short 4-day trip over Easter because she's a teacher, and this is one time of the year when she can get 4 consecutive days off. But this year we did not plan a trip, so we'll probably just be out at our camper on Lake Francis over in Elysian, and maybe invite our local kids out there and grill up some food for them and let the grandson play. And
I know you talked to Jeff Anderson the other day, the tennis coach.
Yeah, I communicated with Jeff a little bit.
And did he say he had a meet next Saturday on Easter weekend?
Well, I thought, you know, that now that you mention that.
Because it'd be kind of cool if we could get him out here, and I thought that might be the perfect day.
Yeah. So.
Then again, you know, the parents might be going on away from home too, as far as that goes.
Yeah, he did. He told me that they have a meet today and next Saturday, but the 26th may work. So, that is very strange. I didn't catch that.
Why would you schedule a game on Easter weekend?
I did not catch that until you just pointed out the obvious to me here, but I'm going to have to check with Jeff and say, Jeff, are you sure?
Well, there are other games. I know I've got one on our schedule for a softball game between 2 state-ranked teams next Saturday, Belle Plaine and Randolph, and it's Easter weekend.
Yeah?
I know if I were in charge, I probably wouldn't schedule anything on Easter weekend, but I'm not.
Yep. Didn't even ask our opinion, did they?
You know, because families might want to go somewhere for Easter.
Yep.
Go see grandma or grandpa or great-grandma or great-grandpa.
They're all great.
You're grandpa, aren't you?
I am a grandpa, yes.
How many times over?
1.5.
Half? What's a half a grandpa?
It hasn't been born yet, but it's coming in June. So, I have one grandson now, and then in June, I believe I will have another grandchild.
You know what sex yet?
I believe it's a girl.
Well, there you go. You'll have one of each.
One of each, yeah.
You can't beat that.
Yeah.
My mom said the same thing when my older sister had a boy, and then she had a girl. And then my younger sister had a girl, and those were all the grandkids they had because my brother and I never had kids. Isn't that sad?
Yeah. You would have been a great dad.
Well, I don't know about that. But I would have loved to have tried anyway. Yep. Certainly would have loved to have tried. I see Anna Cohen's out here working, but I don't want to bother her. She's, of course, the second baseman for the BA Cardinal fast pitch team, which is undefeated.
3-0, correct?
Yep, and I think, in fact, I know I've got their game on Tuesday in Kenyon. Actually, it's in Wanamingo.
Okay.
That's where they play, Wanamingo, but they'll play Kenyon Wanamingo in Wanamingo on Tuesday, and we'll have that for you on the radio. I'm looking forward to that. Monday, I've got a Goodhue game against Cannon Falls in Goodhue. And today, the Faribault Falcon baseball team and fast pitch softball team are in action. Both have double headers, and both are against Northfield. The baseball is here at Bell Field. The softball is up in Northfield.
Okay. And the first game of the doubleheader for baseball starts when?
Well, both of them start at noon.
Both start at noon, okay.
I believe that's the case. In fact, I know the baseball's at noon. Yep. And it's not going to be easy for the Falcons because Northfield is state ranked. They've got a lot of guys back from a team that went to state last year. So they're coming off a win the other night. I had them, the Northfield coaches show was right before our show. Josh Spitzak joined me this morning and gave us the rundown. They did lose on Tuesday to Mankato East, who's state-rated as well. Big Nine's loaded.
Yeah. Well, like I think I just mentioned last week, the teams in our conference and region, top-notch competition in southern Minnesota right here in our, Big Nine conference and kind of the southeastern, south central region. We
now
got
the
some great teams.
Gopher Conference, of course, BA is rated, and the Gopher Conference that they're in has a lot of really good softball teams. Of course, Randolph is rated number 1. They're the defending state champs, and their pitchers get this thrown in 4 games, 1 hit allowed, 3 no-hitters.
Wow. That's not bad.
Morgan Wilson, who we were hoping to have last week, she told me she'd come out, but she didn't quite make it last week. The pitcher for BA, she threw a 1-hitter this past week against the Medford Tigers.
Awesome. Good job, Morgan.
Just 1 hit allowed. And I think it was I don't remember the score. I shouldn't say the score if I don't remember the score.
Yeah. But let's just go with the fact that they're 3-0.
And it ended early.
They got a good start to the season.
Absolutely. And again, they just played Kenyon in their season opener last week, not this past week, but the week before. And they're going to Wanamingo, as I said, on Tuesday. And we'll have that game on the airwaves. Looking forward to that. Last spring I wasn't able to broadcast any games, so
yeah,
kind of nice. I didn't get out of the nursing home until around April 15th. I think it was the 17th of April I got out. Something like that. And then I went back to work in May from home.
Yep, you did do the home studio thing for a while.
Yep. So it's kind of nice. I've been down to the station now for a few weeks, full time. When you walk in the door of Janna's, did you notice, and maybe you didn't, but I can't remember if it's a board game or a puzzle that you see when you first walk in the door there. It's You Betcha.
I have not noticed that.
It's a Minnesota thing?
Yeah, I have not noticed that.
You Betcha, isn't that a Norwegian thing?
I think so. I believe it is.
Ross is British, I'm guessing.
I've always been told we're Scottish.
Yeah, Irish, Scottish, that sounds about right.
I've always been told we're Scottish.
But you don't know that for a fact, huh?
No, I have never done a DNA test or anything. I always kind of wanted to, just to see what makes me up, Yeah,
you might be surprised.
Yeah, I probably would be, yeah.
Might have some Indian blood, who knows?
Yeah.
And if it's a quarter or something.
Probably have a little of everything. But I know, I was told that my father's family came from Canada. Not my father directly, but his relatives. His relatives came from Canada and settled in South Dakota. And supposedly I still have some form of distant relatives up in Canada.
Yeah. Well, my grandfather, my dad's dad, came over from Germany to North America. He went through Ellis Island. He ended up settling for a couple of years in Canada, in Winnipeg. Lived above a grocery store, worked at the grocery store. And sometime during that period, he married my grandma. And I think it was an arranged wedding.
Really?
We have no proof of that. One of my cousins is doing a lot of genealogy work.
Yeah.
And she was surprised to learn, because we all thought that he served in the service in Germany. He actually served in America in World War I.
Oh, okay.
And my dad didn't even know that. So he obviously didn't talk about it, right?
Yeah.
And of course, my dad served in World War II. So it must have been just as he got here. World War I broke out when? About 1914, does that sound right?
It's in that, I was going to say 1912, somewhere. Right, it's right in that ballpark.
Because he moved to Canada in 1911, lived there for 2 years, and then came to America. My dad was born in 1916, and they lived in North Minneapolis. Yeah. Everybody's going, who cares, Gordy?
Can we brag a little bit about the tennis team? Starting
Absolutely.
Out season 2-0?
They're 2-0.
2-0, yeah. Boys tennis team is 2-0 to start out the season, and they
Any
got a
Big
match.
Big Nine wins?
They got a match going on right now. I know they beat Mankato East this week. I'm not sure who.
Oh, that's impressive.
And today they have a triangular against Northfield and Rochester Century.
Okay, more Big Nine schools.
And it's at Rochester Century. And then Tuesday they play Rochester John Marshall.
You know, Rochester Century, the wind always blows there.
Does it?
It's like at the top of a hill.
Oh, okay. Okay. But, so congratulations to,
way to go, Jeff.
Falcon boys tennis, 2-0 to start out the season. But, you know, the Rochester teams are always tough because they have the Rochester.
Well, they got the indoor thing there.
Yeah, they got
that's why
Rochester Athletic Center with the rack.
No?
Indoor tennis courts.
Yep.
I remember taking my son Ryder over there to play tennis and stuff. Just a fantastic facility.
Yeah, I wish we had something like that.
It's just amazing.
But, you know, we don't have 100 and some thousand people.
Yep. No, that's true. But no, they played some pretty good tennis. At number 1 singles, Brandon Petrushka. He won easily, 6-3, 6-4. Carson Kramer, we had Carson in here a couple of times last year.
You know, Mr. Petrushka is a tall drink of water.
Is he?
He's like 6'4", 6'5", pretty good basketball player.
That helps in serving.
It certainly does, and it helps in, you know, how are you going to lob it over his head and that sort of stuff.
Yeah, yep.
He's got reach and all that.
Yep. Oh. Number 2 singles, Carson Kramer, who has come in last year at least twice and talked tennis with us. He won 6-1, 6-0. Nelson Ortiz, he won 6-4, 6-0. And Ben Diaz Coons, he won 6-0, 6-1. So,
gee, they kicked some tail.
Yeah, I'm kind of guessing that. I don't want to say Faribault East isn't having a rough start to their season, but the Falcons are just having a good start to their season.
Yeah.
So I'll try to get Carson and the crew and Jeff back in here in a couple of weeks or so.
Get Mr. Petrushka to join them?
Yeah. Holy cow. Our show's, we've only got like 3 minutes left. Time flies when you're having fun, doesn't it?
Are you having fun?
Absolutely. I always do. I enjoy coming in here and talking sports with you.
We didn't talk a whole lot.
Or church. Well, we did, though. I mean, we talked to Faribault Distinguished Alumni.
Well, that's not sports.
Well,
that's not sports.
But remember, we're kind of going away from the
I know.
Sports emphasis to activities. So, and if they're a Faribault Distinguished Alumni, that means that they were active in activities when they were in high school.
Well, maybe they were, maybe they weren't. I don't know. They're judged not on their high school years; they're judged on their out of high school years, what they've done for their community, what they've done in their careers. Right? I mean, that's a who's who of some great Faribault people.
Yeah, it's a very high honor to.
I think this started in 2017. Club. There aren't many schools that do this. Does your high school do it? I know mine doesn't.
I believe ours does.
It has a distinguished service.
I don't know that they call it specifically that, but I know they have some kind of a recognition system.
Well, most schools have a sports hall of fame, but not everybody has. I think there's only like 3 schools in all of Minnesota that do it. If I remember Jill right, she came up with the idea for this, Jill Fagerland, and her old school in Brainerd had it. That's where she came up with the idea. Said, we ought to do that in Faribault, and she started it. It's 2017, I think. Then they were off for 2 years because of COVID.
Okay. Ah, well,
you realize COVID was a half a decade ago?
Wow. The start of it or the end of it? Or, well, do we know when it ended? I don't
think it's over yet.
Probably not, but yeah.
There's still some cases out there.
Oh, yeah. It's going to be around just
forever.
Yeah. So, do you mind if I talk a little real estate?
No, I offered you that opportunity at the beginning.
Yeah, well, we're now to the end, so I might as well see if I can fit it in. But once again, Royal Ross with Trek Properties. We're located in beautiful downtown Faribault, across the street from the post office. We also have an office in Dundas. Got a pretty decent sized footprint from Bloomington all the way down to oh boy, Winona and Jackson and over to Madison Lake.
You even have storage units.
Yep. We have 4 divisions. We have a storage unit division. We have a homeowner association management division. That's what I work in. We have a commercial management division and a property management division where we manage residential rental properties for investors. So I'm a licensed realtor. We can help you across the board with any real estate need. Just give us a call at Trek Properties, 507-334-3499. And we will be happy.
Are you a financial advisor considering the independent RIA model and wondering where to start? Start with Schwab Advisor Services. They've helped thousands evaluate the full range of options and can help you determine your best path forward. Start your journey today at advisorservices.schwab.com/paths.